Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu, and good day to each and every one of you, especially to our dear and lovely instructor, Ma'am Rayhanah Dalinding. I am Rayhanah Dalinding from BSED English 2A, along with my report partner, Mr. Abdul Muhammad Kasan. We are the discussant for the chapter 4 of lesson 4, and as for my part, I will discuss the climate change. Before we proceed to our main discussion, let me introduce to you our learning outcomes. At the end of the chapter, the students should be able to identify the causes of climate change, assess the various impact of climate change including economic, geopolitical, biological, meteorological, and etc. Apply science, technology, and society or STS concepts to the issue of climate change. Describe the energy crisis and its causes, and lastly, identify possible ways by which energy crisis can be prevented. Climate change is one of the fundamental challenges ever to confront humanity. Its adverse effects being seen may intensify over time if nothing is done about it. The phrase "one of the fundamental challenges" emphasizes the gravity and scale of climate change. It's not just another issue, it's a critical problem that affects the entire planet and every living being on it. Climate change impacts various aspects of life, including weather patterns, sea level ecosystems, and human health. It influences economies, food security, water supply, and even geopolitical stability. What is climate change? Climate change refers to the change in global original patterns, in particular, a change apparent from the mid to late 20th century onwards and attributed largely to the increased level of atmospheric carbon dioxide by the use of fossil fuels. It is a catch-all term for the shift in worldwide weather phenomena associated with an increase in global average temperature. Climate change, also called global warming, refers to the rise in average surface temperatures on Earth. NASA defines climate change as a broad range of global phenomena created predominantly by burning fossil fuels, which add heat-trapping gases to Earth's atmosphere. These phenomena include the increased temperature trends described by global warming, but also encompasses changes such as sea level rise, ice mass loss in Greenland, Antarctica, the Arctic, and mountain glaciers worldwide, shifts in flower or plant blooming, and all extreme weather events. What are the causes of climate change? Most climate scientists agree that the main cause of current global warming trend is a human expansion of the greenhouse effect. Warming that results when the atmosphere traps heat radiating from Earth towards space. Life on Earth is dependent in an atmospheric greenhouse, a layer of gases reflected back from the Earth, radiating it back and keeping our planet at a temperature capable of supporting life. Human activity is currently generating an excess of long-lived greenhouse gases that, unlike water vapor, don't dissipate in response to temperature increases, resulting in a continuing buildup of heat. Greenhouse gases that contribute to the greenhouse effect include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Water vapor is the most abundant greenhouse gas, but importantly, acts as a feedback to the climate. Water vapor increases as the Earth's atmosphere warms, but so does the possibility of clouds and precipitation, making this some of the most important feedback mechanisms to the greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide, or the CO2, is a minor but very important component of the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is released through natural processes such as respiration and volcano eruptions, and through human activities such as deforestation, land use changes, and burning fossil fuels. Humans have increased atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration by more than a third since the Industrial Revolution began. The main source of excess carbon dioxide emission is burning of fossil fuels, while deforestation has reduced the amount of plant life available to turn carbon dioxide to oxygen. Methane, a hydrocarbon gas produced both through natural sources and human activities, including the decomposition of wastes in landfills, agriculture, and especially rice cultivation, as well as ruminant digestion and manure management associated with domestic livestock on a molecule-for-molecule basis. Methane is a far more active greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, but also one which is much less abundant in the atmosphere. Nitrous oxide, a powerful greenhouse gas produced by soil cultivation practices, especially the use of commercial and organic fertilizers, fossil fuel combustion, nitric acid production, and biomass burning. Chlorofluorocarbons, or the CFCs, synthetic compounds entirely of industrial origin used in a number of applications, but now largely regulated in production and released to ozone layer. They are also greenhouse gases. Our warming climate is also creating a feedback loop as greenhouse gases trapped in Arctic permafrost are released. What are the effects of climate change? The effects of anthropogenic, or the human-caused climate change, range from more frequent and severe droughts to snowstorms and extreme winter weather in temperature regions as a result of warming Arctic weather fronts. It's not only humans that are affected. Warming ocean temperatures are increasing the frequency of coral reef bleaching. Warmer, drier weather means that forests in some regions are no longer recovering from wildfires, and wildlife habitats around the world are becoming less hospitable to animals. How is climate change affecting the Philippines? The Global Climate Risk Index listed the Philippines as the number one most affected country by climate change because of its geography. The Philippines is located in the western Pacific Ocean, surrounded by naturally warm waters that will likely even get warmer as average sea surface temperature continue to rise. This is according to Climate Reality Project organization. To some extent, this is a normal pattern. The ocean surface warms as it absorbs sunlight. The ocean then releases some of its heat into the atmosphere, creating wind and rain clouds. However, as the ocean surface increases over time from the effects of climate change, more and more heat is released into the atmosphere. This additional heat in the ocean and air can lead to stronger and more frequent storms. This is what has happened to the Philippines. 5 of the deadliest typhoons have occurred since 2006, affecting and displacing thousands of citizens every time. The deadliest storm on record in the Philippines is Typhoon Yolanda, which was responsible for more than 6,300 lost lives, over 4 million displaced citizens, and 2 billion peso damages in 2013. The Philippines also lacks natural barriers as a collection of over 7,000 islands. There is almost nothing standing between them and the sea. In addition to the coral reefs, one of the best buffers against typhoons are the Philippine mangrove ecosystems. These mangroves help mitigate of storm surge and stabilizes soil, but almost half of these have disappeared since 1918 due to deforestation. Other natural factors like regional wind patterns or currents also increase the risk of tropical storms. Sea levels in the Philippines are rising at about twice the global average, and when it rises to 15 to 20 feet, as what happened during Typhoon Yolanda, millions of citizens and coastal communities in the Philippines have been displaced. In the Philippines, the effects of climate change and global warming cannot be denied. There used to be clear delineation between the dry and wet weather, or summer and rainy months. January to June have always been known as the dry months, while the rest were wet months. Summer in the Philippines means hot, sunny days and temperature are quite high. Wet months, on the other hand, are characterized by typhoons, windy days, and suspended classes. During wet months, sunny days are unusual and in fact unexpected. Nowadays, however, the wet and dry days occur anytime in the year. Pia Ranada, January 22, 2014, stated 6 ways by which climate change affects our country. This is according to Rappler.com Nation. Number 1. More intense El Nino. The El Nino phenomenon occurs when the surface of the ocean waters in the southern Pacific becomes abnormally warm. The energy created by this is so great that it can create an imbalance in the weather in the different parts of the world. In Southeast Asia, it can lead to abnormally dry conditions. El Nino can also weather events like storm, highly unpredictable weather will have extreme highs and lows, making it increasingly difficult to predict weather patterns for purposes of planning and normal business operations, says a WWF Philippines study. Number 2. Sea surface temperatures to rise. By the end of the century, sea surface temperatures are expected to rise by 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. This can lead to more powerful storms because storms get their strength from heat rising from the sea. In the Philippines, 4 and 5 degrees Celsius spikes above the normal sea surface temperature have been recorded. Warmer seas kill coral reefs and can thus lead to a decline in fish catch, putting food security in danger. Number 3. Oceans acidification. The shift in the pH levels of our oceans can lead to widespread coral reef death. Because of the imbalance, shrimps are not able to develop skins, oysters cannot develop shells, fish larvae might not be able to develop bones. This further endangers food security livelihood. Number 4. Sea levels to rise 4 to 6 meters. Current data show an increase in sea surface heights. Scientists say this is due to the melting of ice sheets in the southern and northern portions of the globe like Antarctica and Greenland. Sea level rise by 4 to 6 meters can submerge outlying communities like Tacloban City, which stands only 3 meters. Tropical cyclones to intensify. The creation of tropical cyclones is already being recorded in areas where the phenomenon had never been observed. On November 8, 2013, Super Typhoon Yolanda, or Haiyan, said to be the strongest in recorded history, devastated cities in Visayas. Number 6, rainfall, river flow, and flooding to intensify. Monsoon rainfall in the Philippines will reach new highs and lows. Some parts of the country will make it more difficult for agriculture and aquaculture sectors, which are highly dependent on weather. Philippine offers are already experiencing unprecedented amounts of rainfall. In Tacloban City, rainfall increased by 25% from 1998 to 2011. More rainfall will lead to more flooding and can trigger landslides in upland communities. Climate change also impacts our country's ability to feed people. This is according to Karen Bermejo, 2017. She wrote, "Climate change is altering production ecosystem and compromising food security and nutrition for millions of people in the Philippines." According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, or the UNFAO, according to Jose Manuel Fernandez, UNFAO's representative to the Philippines, due to climate change, crop yields are expected to decline by 25%, while catches of main fish species are expected to decline by 40% in tropical countries like the Philippines. Number 2, climate change also affects farmers. Because of too much heat, too much rain, crops are ruined. An example of this is the 8-month drought which affected the Western Visayas region from October 2015 to May 2016, which damaged crops in more than 80,000 hectares farmland and resulted to more than P2 billion pesos in losses. The drought has also affected farmers and crops in the provinces of Quezon, Camarines Norte, Samar, Laguna, and Mindoro. Number 3, food security declines. The Global Food Security Index, or the GSFI, showed a decline in the Philippines ranking. From 74, it dropped to 79th among 113 countries based on the data released by the Economist Intelligence Unit, or the EIU. Number 4, malnutrition increases based on the latest National Nutrition Survey of the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, or the FNRI, of the Department of Science and Technology, or the DOST. Malnutrition rate in the Philippines is also increasing. The Philippines malnutrition rate, or stunting among children under 5 years old has increased 33.4% from just 30.3% in 2013. So this is all for my report. Thank you so much for listening.